Hello, everybody, and welcome to my webinar. My name is Jessie Lane Lee, and I'm so excited to be here tonight for the next 30 minutes talking to you about daily detox tips. Now, these are all really simple things, simple detox tips that you can incorporate into your everyday life really easily without having to spend a lot of time, because I know we're all really busy. If you're watching this live, then if you look to the side, there's a comment section. And I would love for you to ask all of your questions there, because the joy of attending live is that you get to have access to me and ask me all of your questions. So if you're attending live, please sign in with your Gmail address or Google address and ask any of your questions in the chat, and I'm going to answer them live as we're going. If you're watching this replay, then you can put any questions you have in the comments, and I'll monitor that for the next little bit just to make sure I answer any questions that you have. So without further ado, we will get started. So today we're talking about daily detox tips. So here's a quick little overview of what I am going to cover today. I'm going to start with explaining a little bit about myself, because some of you may be new to me. I'll talk about where toxins come from so you understand where you're getting those toxins. I'll cover the liver detox process so you understand what the body does to detox the toxins, and then I'm going to give you my top daily detox tips. For more daily detox tips, I'll tell you at the end how there's a whole other webinar waiting for you about that, because I really wanted to keep this to half an hour. Again, as it says here, please type any questions in the chat. I am so excited to answer them here live, and if you're watching the replay, put them in the comments of this video and I will answer them there as well. So, hi everybody, my name is Jessie Lane Lee, and I am a holistic nutritionist, cookbook author, and founder of jessielanewellness.com. And I am someone who understands that you do need to always be detoxing your body. When you don't, you get really sluggish. But I also know that we are so busy, we don't have time to always detox. And that's why my tips are really easy to do. If you're totally new to me, you may be new to my cookbooks, I have lots of really delicious cookbooks. 2, and then one coming out in a couple weeks. And then a third that is just in eBook. And you can definitely check those cookbooks out. They all have really great detoxifying recipes as well. So my first question is for you. Where do toxins come from? And I know a lot of people have some really great ideas about this. So feel free to type in the chat where you think your toxins are coming from, because I love to make sure that these webinars are interactive so I get to hear from you. That's the fun part. So type that in there, and while I wait for comments, we will go to the next slide and I'll give you the answers. But if you do have any ideas on where these toxins come from, throw them in the chat. And there is a bit of a delay on the live stream. All right, so here are all your answers. Where are they coming from? Well, the first one I have is air outside. That's a pretty common sense one. We know that one pretty much, that the air outside can be polluted, right? We live in cities, or at least I do. I have a highway right beside me, so there's a lot of toxins from the exhaust in the air that we're going to be breathing in when we're outside. On top of that, if you're living in a big city, there's buildings and stuff as well, factories that are going to pollute the air even further. An interesting fact, though, is that there is actually more toxins in the inside air than there is in the outside air, which is really crazy because we always think the outside air is better. But for many of us, depending on where we're living, what like the age of our house or condo is, and what kind of furniture we have, there can be more pollution inside. One, because there's a little bit less circulation. Unless you have a really good central air system, the air is not circulating and recirculating as much. So those toxins come from your furniture. When you buy something like a new mattress, it's been sprayed with a fire retardant. This is good because it makes sure that you don't burn to death if your house lights on fire and for some reason the fire doesn't wake you up fast enough, your mattress won't burn. But the problem with this thing that they spray it with is actually quite toxic for us to inhale. So we need to think about that as well. Another thing is dust. If you're in an older house, older apartment, you're probably going to have a lot of dust. And dust is a huge allergen. So many of us, including myself, are allergic to dust. So it makes us have sneezing, coughing, respiratory issues, and it can affect our bodies in other ways as well. Another one is mold. This is a big one if you're in a basement apartment or an older building or in the summer when the air is really moist and warm. Mold can develop, and mold is so toxic. It causes all of these health issues in our bodies. So it's really important if you do live in a moldy place, it's time to do something about it. Maybe get some cleaning solution. I really like Thieves essential oils to help kill that mold and clean it off. Cigarette smoke. That one's pretty common sense. We know about cigarette smoke, but it does really contribute to inside air pollution if you are smoking inside. Another thing to consider is if you have neighbors, if you're in a condo and your neighbors smoke and you have a forced air system, oftentimes the cigarette smoke from their unit can work its way into yours. So you're trying hard to avoid it, but can't really do much about it. So that's it for the air, but then there's also a lot of toxins in our beauty products. Our skin is our biggest organ. It does so much and it absorbs everything we put on it. There's so many drugs actually that are actually administered by the skin. If you think of the birth control pill patch, that's through the skin. It's absorbing that medication through the skin. So it can do the exact same thing with the moisturizers we splatter all over our bodies and our faces. So it's really important to consider what is in those moisturizers. Is there chemicals? Is there preservatives? Is there dyes? Is there perfume? Perfume is a really big one. You'll find it in just about any beauty product. So something you definitely want to look out for. We have a comment here. Someone says food. Yes, food definitely is the next one I'm going to talk about for places where toxins come from. And that's one I talk about a lot as a holistic nutritionist. So when we're buying processed food, there's a lot of preservatives and chemicals that get added. The preservatives are there to extend the shelf life because people don't want to buy food off the shelf and have it go bad instantaneously. And then the chemicals are there to make the food taste better and to preserve it as well. Stuff like MSG that tricks the tongue into thinking that there's more protein and flavor in the food than there actually is. Pesticides are another one. So when you're buying food that's conventionally grown, it's often heavily sprayed with pesticides. And those can cause a lot of health issues in our bodies, and our bodies have to detox those pesticides so that they don't stay in our bodies. And that's a whole other topic altogether. I've mentioned that in previous presentations about the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And if you want more information on that, you can find that on my website, jessielanewellness.com. And then food coloring is another one I have up there because food coloring is something that we don't really need, but they add it to food to make it look pretty. But it's a toxin our body has to work to detox, so it's better to avoid that if possible. And the last one here is our medication. So this is one we don't always think about, but a lot of medication contains preservatives. If you look at the expiry date on a bottle of pills, it doesn't expire within a matter of weeks. It usually expires within a year or several years. So there has to be something in there to preserve it. That little silica pack making sure it's dry isn't going to be enough. The other thing with pills too and medication is oftentimes the actual active ingredient is very minute, but it has to be put in a filler or a stabilizer, again, to preserve it. So your body does have to detox those. And your body sometimes has to detox the medication as well. So those are all the places where these toxins are coming from. Now we'll talk about how the body actually deals with these toxins. So this is a very broken down kind of outline of the liver detox process. The first thing that the liver does is it transforms fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble toxins. And this way the body's actually able to do something with it. If they stayed fat-soluble, they'd be really hard to eliminate. The next thing the body does, and mostly again it's the liver, has enzymes that break down these water-soluble toxins and neutralizes them. So it makes it so they're no longer harmful. And once they've done that, we've got something that's no longer harmful and water-soluble, so our body can take care of it and eliminate it. So that happens through our pee, our poo, our sweat, and even our breath. We often forget, but there's moisture in our breath, and we are detoxing through the breath, which is really cool. So the liver is really good at what it does. If the liver wasn't able to detox, then we would be dead. So our liver works really hard, and it does a really great job. But it's always nice to give the liver a little bit of extra love, because we all know our bodies can always use some extra love. And the more we can detox every day, the more energy we're going to have, the less headaches we'll get, the less kind of foggy brain, the less acne. I mean, it affects so many systems in our body. So this shows you the 10 detox tips that I normally give with this presentation. But today I wanted to make sure I stuck with a half hour, short, sweet, so I decided to divide it into 2. So the top 4 I have in yellow are the ones we're talking about today, and we're going to talk about the other 6 at another time. But this is a little overview. So today we're doing tongue scraping, deep breathing, exercise, and lemon water. So the first one is tongue scraping. Has anybody heard of tongue scraping? If you have, go into the comments and let me know. Tongue scraping is one of my favorite things. If you've never done it, oh my gosh, you are in for a treat. When you've been sleeping all night, your body's detoxing, and some of that detox, as I just mentioned, is through the breath. So you're breathing out these toxins that have been neutralized, but sometimes those toxins take a little pit stop on your tongue. And then you wake up in the morning with this really disgusting, dragon, stinky breath. And my favorite way to get rid of that is a tongue scraper. And you can see what it looks like in the picture. All you do is you hold the 2 plastic ends, you stick it on the back of your tongue, and gently drag it forward. And the stuff that comes off of that, the goo, is so gross, but so satisfying. Afterwards, your tongue feels so clean, your breath is going to be fresh, and you're going to feel so, so good. It's also a really cool thing to do in the morning, because all the different areas on your tongue are joined to different parts of your body and different organs. So by scraping your tongue, you're actually waking up the organs in your body. You're kind of waking up your digestive system, and it really helps have that morning bowel movement that we all love. It's always nice to have that before you go to work. So I really like tongue scraping in the morning. But you can do it any time of day. You could do it before bed, you could do it in the morning, you could do it whenever you want to. I will tell you, it is addictive, and whenever I give this talk, webinar, lunch and learn, and I get people on to tongue scraping, they always email me and say they're so addictive. It is the best, and they're super cheap. A tongue scraper runs from like $7 to $12, so not a big investment. Takes maybe 30 seconds in the morning. It's going to help with detox, it's going to help with fresh breath, and it's just going to feel so, so good. So I highly recommend it. I love my tongue scraper. I won't go anywhere without it. The next one here is deep breathing. So we do a lot of detox from our breath. But the problem is, usually during the day, we do a lot of shallow kind of chest breathing. We're up in our chest and we don't actually breathe to our full capacity. So if you ever take a breath and then breathe out and then keep breathing out, there's so much more air in your lungs that kind of just stays there and gets stagnant. So it's really important to take a couple breaths, take a pause every now and then during your day to take a nice big breath. You can do it through your chest or you can do it into your belly. Belly breathing is really magical because it's also very good at reducing stress. Both are. But when you breathe into your belly, it's extremely grounding and it's really good at diffusing stress. So not only are you detoxing the air in the lungs, you're also detoxing your mind. So when you feel your day is starting to get really busy, maybe spinning out of control, take a moment and just take a couple nice, big, full, deep breaths. Because deep breathing is so fabulous. And if you could do that in nature, it's an extra bonus point because you're going to get a ton more oxygen and fresh, clean air. So if you can do it in a forest like I have on the slide, even better. The next one here is to move your beautiful body. You want to get that body moving. I told my students I would do a shimmy, so if you guys are watching, you got your shimmy. You want to move that body. Exercise is such a great way to detox. It gets the blood pumping, it gets things moving, it gets you sweating. When you sweat, you actually detox so many toxins. So much toxicity is released through your sweat. That's part of the reason why it can get a little stinky sometimes. If your sweat is really rancid and real stinky, then that's a sign that you can probably benefit from all of these detox tips I'm giving you today. Exercise is also really important for moving the lymphatic system. This is a system that goes all the way through the body, but unlike the heart, or unlike the bloodstream that has the heart as a pump to keep it moving, the lymphatic system doesn't have that. So the only way to move the lymphatic system is through movement. The best way is rebounding, so if you get on a trampoline or something like that, but exercise is going to do the trick as well. And you can remember that when I say exercise, sweating is great and it's a really good way to go. But if it's not for you, you don't have to do a really long run or a hot yoga class or work out on the treadmill until you're just dripping with sweat. It can be gentle exercise as well. As you can see in the photo, that's me. Yoga is a really good form of exercise. It gets the body moving, and there's so many different types of yoga. This morning I did a yin yoga class, which is long, slow holds, and it's really good at getting into the joints and the ligaments, but you're still moving your body. You're renewing your synovial fluid, the fluid that lines your joints, so it gets nice and slippery so you don't get that arthritis-y, cracky feeling. So I highly recommend exercise as a way to detox and to also reduce stress and improve your mood. We all love those endorphins that happen after we exercise. And the last tip I'm giving you today is to drink your morning lemon water. So you've gotten up, you've done your tongue scraping, you've brushed your teeth, done all that stuff. Morning lemon water is another really great way to jumpstart your system in the morning. It is very detoxifying to the body. Lemon has tons of detoxification properties, and it jumpstarts your digestive system. So it's also going to help you get that morning bowel movement happening so you don't have to poo at work, because it's always awkward, but you do it anyway because when you gotta go, you gotta go. But lemon water is really going to help that bowel movement happen right in the morning. It's really detoxifying, and it's a great way to start your body and start your day on a very alkaline step. So it's interesting because lemon water, when it's actually in the glass, is quite acidic. And I highly recommend drinking it through a straw or just having a small concentrated glass and then rinsing your mouth with regular water. Because it is acidic, it's going to eat away a little bit at your enamel. However, when your body digests lemon, it becomes very alkaline, which is where we want to be. When our bodies are acidic, that's when disease thrives. When they're alkaline, that's when we're going to feel our best. So if you need more ideas for ways to start your morning detox routine, smoothies are a really great start. They're super nutrient dense. You can add the lemon right into there. You can add so much other stuff. So if you want to learn more and get more smoothie ideas, you might enjoy my ebook, the 21-Day Smoothie Guide. It's only $4.99 on my website, and it has over 21 delicious smoothie recipes. It also has some really great information. We talk about juicing versus smoothie and why you would choose one over the other. We talk about your basic smoothie formula so you can start creating your own recipes, and we talk about how to shop for protein powder. So the link to that, if you go to jessielainewellness.com/ebooks, you can find that ebook and all of my other cookbooks there. But I like this one because it kind of helps with our morning detox. So this is a quick little recap of what we covered today and the things I want you to do. So we talked about how to detox the body. We talked about where those toxins are coming from, right? From the air, inside and outside, from our beauty products, from our food, and from our medication. We talked about how the liver detoxifies, or how the liver detoxifies the toxins, how it takes the fat-soluble toxins and converts them into water-soluble, and then the enzymes work away on them and neutralize them, and then the body's system detoxes them through our sweat, through our urine, through our poo, through our lymphatic system, through all of our different systems, and our breath, our lungs as well. So these are the 4 detox tips here. We talked about tongue scraping. It's awesome. Highly recommended. Deep breathing. Such a great way to calm down, slow down, and detox through a nice deep breath. Exercise, getting your body moving and that blood pumping. And lemon water in the morning to wake you up and get that first BM. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to choose one of these 4 and commit to doing it for at least the next 4 days. All of them are really easy. The tongue scraper, you gotta go out and buy one, but they're really cheap. But for the other 3, you can do this without needing to do anything. Well, I guess you gotta buy lemons, but either way, I want you to choose one of these 4, and I want you to commit to trying it this week, because it is so important to start detoxing our body. And it's January, so January is like detox season. We gotta totally get into that. And if you do try one of them, I want to hear about it. So you can find me at info@jessielanewellness.com and on social media, and let me know how all of this goes. And if you want even more accountability, you can go to the comments section, or it's this side. I don't know what side it's on. You can go into the comments and let me know which one of these things you're going to try. Because if you publicly tell me, then you're more likely to actually do it. So those are the 4 things. I really want you to do them. I also wanted to take a couple seconds to show you what's coming up, because I have lots more live stuff happening, and probably there'll be more than just what's shown here. But I'm doing a live online cooking class on January 31st. Super excited. We're making a delicious soup recipe you do not want to miss out on. I'm doing another live cooking class on February 22nd. So these are really fun because you get the recipe ahead of time, you get all the ingredients, and you just cook along with me in the kitchen. It's so fun. Especially if you're by yourself preparing dinner, you're not alone anymore because I'm here. And then you can ask questions as we cook as well. On February 28th, I'm doing a webinar with Goodness Me. So it's what we covered at the beginning of this webinar and the whole second half. So those other 6 daily detox tips we're going to be covering in that webinar. And then finally, you have to wait till March to get part 2 of this webinar, where you get the other 6 daily detox tips in more detail. So I'm here. I would love to answer all of the questions you guys have. That's the cool part about being live, is you get to ask any questions that have come up during this webinar, or any questions whatsoever. Don't forget to check out, if you don't already have any of my ebooks, you go to jessielanewellness.com/ebooks. The smoothie one's there and a bunch of other ones. I have this, so excited, healthy homemade soups and sandwiches. This is coming out really soon. This is our proof. It's not quite on Amazon yet, but yeah, that says proof, but it's just tons of delicious recipes. So yummy. You're going to want to check this out. You can actually buy it now. It's 60% off until it comes out, so it's a pre-order right now, so definitely you want to check that out. Hello. You also can follow me on social media. This whole time in the video at the bottom, we've had the social media streaming across. I adore social media. I have so much fun on there. So you can find me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram as @JessieL Wellness. And of course, on YouTube. So if you guys have liked this video, I would be so grateful if you could give it a thumbs up and actually like it. And then I want you to think of at least one person you know who is into detox. And I want you to share this video with them, because sharing is so important. The more people who can learn these techniques, the better people are going to feel, and the more people are going to feel amazing and full of energy, no acne. It's just all good stuff. And finally, before you go, I really want you to subscribe to my channel, because I post videos all the time, and that way you get notifications whenever I post something new and when I go live. Because I listed those things coming up, but I'll probably in between do all these random impromptu live webinars and cooking classes, so you do not want to miss out on those. So make sure you subscribe to my channel before you go. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been such a pleasure with you here tonight. I still have some time left, so I'm going to hang out for the next little bit, and if you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer them. If not, I hope you have a fantastic evening, and I'm sending you love, peace, and healthy eats.